Hello and welcome to the very first CruNation show, a weekly update show for your very own Joplin Crusaders. I'm your host, Austin Woodard, and I'm joined here by a couple of players and, of course, head coach David Pitts. We have defensive end Jordan Hiley, and we have outside linebacker Peter Edwards joining us this week. A little bit about this show. We're going to kind of get to know the Joplin Crusaders a little bit more personally, get to know the players. Of course, head coach will be doing weekly updates. We'll be taking a look at highlights from the previous week, and we'll be doing a look ahead to the next week's game. So with that being said, Joplin Crusaders come into the 2015 season defending their 2014 AA Semi-Pro National Championship. Congratulations, guys, on that.
Thank you.
And we're very lucky to have you here. Coach Pitts, let me be the first person to congratulate you on your 100th victory as head coach of the Joplin Crusaders.
Thank you very much.
It's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Something to be said for 100 victories as a head coach. Not a lot of semi-pro teams get to last 100 games. What got you involved with the Crusaders all those years ago?
There was a coach here a while back, Coach Wilkerson. He called me 2 years in a row, and both the first year I thought, I don't have the time, and I questioned whether the guys were even going to listen, and things like that. And second year he calls me again, and I decided to do it, and I came back and came in as a D coordinator. 2 years later I became the head coach, and been the head coach ever since. And I keep coming back every year because guys play hard. I mean, it's hard to walk away from guys who give the effort that they give night in and night out, and and they do it for the love of the game because there's none of them, none of them getting rich.
Mm-hmm. And a little bit of background for those of you that don't know, the Crusader season starts every year in October with open tryouts. So anybody is available to come and try out. And you talk about the character of the players on the team and what the makeup of the team every year is. Is there something in particular that you look for in a certain player to keep that tradition that the Crusaders have set up going? Like with so much turnover of players, new guys coming in, older guys going out, but you kind of have a staple every year of returning players. Is there something that the players teach each other, or is that something that you look for?
A lot of it's the players teach each other, but we really try to preach the family. And I don't have to do that as much as the veterans do that. And, guys come and go, in semi-pro. And the guys that stick are the guys that they fit in with us. They join our family. And they're willing to buy in and learn their role. And those are the guys that we keep. And a lot of that is dictated on how our veterans interact with them. If they don't interact with them at all, then they normally don't stick around.
The Crusaders tradition started 15 years ago, this being their 15th season. And it wouldn't have lasted without players like Jordan and Peter here. We'll start with you, Jordan. What made you decide to join the Crusaders and come and try out back in October, your first October?
Well, I was down in Mexico, and my bullfighting career didn't really work out very well. So I decided to give football a run. No, that's a joke. I played all through college. I went to Wichita and played at a small school, and I was a two-time All-American there. And when I got done there, I still had a passion for the game, and I ended up moving to Joplin for a job, and I heard about the Crusaders and heard about their traditions and how they like to win, and that's what it's all about. So I tried out and made the team, and this is my fourth season here, and I've kind of found a home. I love it. I mean, I keep coming back. I tell myself I'm done every year, but I can't walk away from the game knowing that I can still play.
Still safer than bullfighting, right?
It's much safer than bullfighting.
What keeps a player keep coming back year after year?
He says it's a tradition, and winning. And I come back for the defense. I play defense. I was in defensive end all through college. Now I play a little defensive end, outside linebacker. And the Joplin Crusaders, for a semi-pro, it's just a mix of all levels. We got people that played in high school, college. I've played against guys that were in the NFL at one time. And the Joplin Crusaders, they hit. And that's what I'm all about. I love to strap my gear on all Saturday and just come out and stroke people. And I love it. We hit so hard, and I get goosebumps just thinking about it. It's a good time, and the family. That's the thing. The veterans and the people, they've really kind of taken me in, and the new guys coming up, they really feed off of our energy, and I love it. So.
And Jordan, you hit on something that most people are very interested in, and the fact that the different levels of play, guys that played in competition, talking about guys that played professionally, different levels of college. It's not just a Crusader thing, although we have a lot. It's league-wide. Guys come in from all different backgrounds of football. Just to name a few of your teammates that you know of. their different levels of experience and what it's been like to play with them.
Well, we've got a new running back this year. His name's Prince Jones. He played at OU, I believe, and then we got a local guy that played at Missouri Southern here, Antoine Dyer, which he's a great linebacker for us. I mean, I played at a lower level, the NAIA school, and had a lot of success there. And really, I mean, it's just it's really neat how, you know, it didn't matter if you were a D1 athlete or came out of high school. There's a spot for you if you got the heart to play and you're physical. And
all different walks of life, all different levels of experience with football. And it brings us to you, Peter. This is outside linebacker Peter Edwards. Why don't you give us a little bit about your background and your playing experience?
Well, it's no question at all. I've always been the runt, so I take in the underdog role. That's definitely mine. I love that. So I played at Independence High School. I did a little stint at Southern. Didn't make it very far. Didn't have the size. Always had the speed. Always had the heart. Just didn't have the size. Love the Crusaders, man. It's family. You can't beat it. Be able to put the helmet on, step on that field underneath the lights, not just to feel your energy, but the energy around you and the crowd and the music. It's just unsurreal. It's amazing in that sense.
Well, it definitely epitomized the what everybody shares as far as the team on the Crusaders. You said the most important thing is your heart. Everybody shares the same, shares the same vision, same drive to be successful, to want to win. And there's no quit to anybody in this team. It's been that way for years. No matter chips are down, no matter what happens. I mean, we got guys like you that come in and just add to it, and it just makes us that much more better. And if it wasn't for guys like you and Jordan and coach running the play calls, who knows how long this thing would have lasted. So we're very fortunate to have guys like you and be a part of this tradition. So we're going to go ahead and cut to break right now. When we come back, we'll do a recap of the 2015 season opener against the River Valley Reckoning, and we'll take a look at some highlights as well. So come back with us. Welcome back to CruNation, coming to you live from Gazzano's Chicago-style pizzeria here in Joplin, Missouri at 7th Duquesne. Proud sponsor and letting us use their facility. Guys, last night, 2015 season kickoff against the River Valley Reckoning out of Arkansas. Come away with the win.
Yes.
26-18. Hard-fought game. Definitely kind of looked like the first game of the season there, Coach. What was your takeaway from it?
We probably played the worst game I've seen us play in 13 years. But like I said, our guys battled. We made plays when we needed to make them, and when it came time, we started getting behind, and we needed stuff made. Like we always done, we settled. We used our veterans, and like always, they come up. I call it a Crusade mystique, kind of. When we need a play, we seem to make it, and over and over again. And our veterans they step up.
You heard? Yeah! Get 2 claps to the Ric Flair! Woo! Crew up, let's go! Crew on me! Crew on 3! 1, 2, 3!
As we run through this block, we're running through some game highlights. You talk about the resiliency of the team. Something in the first block that we talked about, how that kind of becomes the trait and personality of the Crusaders is there's no quit, there's no give up. So guys are always concentrating and focusing on what it takes to make a play and come away with a win. Jordan, is there any point during the game where that kind of kicked into overdrive for you?
I mean, there were some points in the game that we didn't play well. We did not. That's obvious from the film. Never did I think that we were going to lose that game. I knew that we would dig down and make the play when we needed to. When it was on the line, we would make the play. I mean, I think it was 18-18, and we were going into the fourth quarter, and I looked at my buddy Eric Nichols, who plays out of Tulsa, and I said, You hammer down this guy, and I'm going to come in, I'm going to block that punt, and we're going to get it in the end zone. I was hoping for a score, but we ended up with a safety on that play, but that put us up 2 points. So, I mean, like I said, we make the play when we need to.
And Peter, there's definitely some ebb and flow during any given game. that you play. How do you, as a player, when something either goes your way or doesn't, is there guys talking on the sideline, a big stress to the point to stay focused on what your job is to accomplish the team goal? Everybody looking the same way?
Yeah, if it's native, you just build off of it, forget it, move on, make it up next play, 10 times forward. Just like Jordan said, missed a few opportunities here and there, and the defense came up with, at the end, 8 total points, which is huge. Few sacks, turnovers that the offense turned around and came up with points off top. So, when plays need to be made, they were made.
And, Coach, it kind of looked like early on in the game, River Valley came out a little bit tougher than what the guys were expecting last night. Definitely added some pieces to their team from last year. Going into halftime, tied up 6-6. Were there any certain things that you saw, any adjustments that were made between you and the guys to kind of handle what they were throwing at you?
We continued to do what we were doing in the first half, except we just kind of, we had to get everybody on the same page. It was the first time that we had any live hitting. We've had a couple of scrimmages set that got, due to weather, we didn't get the chance to play them, so this was, it was a new season. We learned under fire. But we just had to settle down and do what we do. And, some guys are trying to overplay their position, and you just calm them down and, but do their job, and it worked out for us.
And as we roll through some of last night's highlights right now, you got guys like Chris Turner returning to the team.
Yes.
He's an old veteran. Comes away with 3 touchdown catches last night. Guys like Antoine Dyer playing the linebacker comes away with a huge defensive play. Jordan, you guys, and Peter, you guys were in on that play, forcing a fumble and recovery in the end zone. Was there any one play, though, in particular that stood out to you as a turning point as far as momentum goes back towards the Crusader side? Because it was back and forth all the way through the first half, and then it seemed like the second half, floodgates open and both sides start making a ton of plays. Is there any one thing that you pinpoint as something that gave it back to you in a sense as to where the guys kind of picked themselves back up and said, you know what, we can come away with this with a win?
I thought the touchdown, the defensive touchdown Antoine made, I thought that was big, that was key. Because over the years, when you come play Joplin, the Crusaders, you're playing, our defense has been stellar the whole way. And I think that once we set the tone, then our offense started gelling a little bit, we started moving the ball a little bit more. But I think that was the key.
And it's like we were talking about privately off camera about how some people may have the misconception about this may be a beer league kind of thing, kind of beer league kind of football. If you've ever been to a Joplin Crusader game, you know that's not the case. These are top-notch athletes. They may not be playing at the highest level, but they put as much effort and commitment and concentration into their game as any pro athlete does. And it's definitely great level of competition out there that we can see through these plays. Just like we said, back and forth. What was your guys' all of you, what was your main takeaway last night as a team? Is it what you thought worked well? Is there anything you need to improve on heading into the rest of the season?
I personally think that it gave us a building block. Like, we came out and we did not play our best at all, and we still came away with a win. So, we can only go uphill from here. We're going to get better. We're going to get in sync, and our defense we made 4 mistakes in that game. 4 mistakes on defense, and it cost us 3 touchdowns. And we're going to correct those mistakes, and I say it gives us a stepping stone to get to where we need to be defensively, because defensively, we don't ever give up 3 touchdowns in a game. We don't do that. That's not Joplin Crusader football.
Right.
We're only going to build. We're only going to get better, stronger, faster. We made adjustments. Coach made adjustments with us in the second half, both coaches, offensively and defensively. And, struggles come, struggles go, but we definitely, there's enough athletes, enough talent on that field that the only person that's going to beat us is ourselves.
Hey, baby. Hey, the crew's back, baby. Let's just get this started.
We're going to take a quick break right now. We'll come back and we'll take a look at the offensive play of the game and the defensive play of the game from last night against the River Valley Reckoning. And then when we come back, we'll take a look ahead to the game next week. The Crusaders are on the road against the Arkansas Raptors. So come back with us here at Gasano's in Joplin. Welcome back to Crew Nation, here live at Gasano's in Joplin, Missouri. Here with, of course, defensive end Jordan Hiley, outside linebacker Peter Edwards, and head coach David Pitts. Now it's time to take a look at last night's offensive and defensive plays of the game. As you see right there, offensive play of the game was a 16-yard touchdown pass to Chris Turner from Tevin Gibson, and the defensive play of the game, of course, by Antoine Dyer with the fumble recovery in the end zone, putting the Crusaders over the River Valley Reckoning 26-18. Now we look ahead to next week's opponent, the Arkansas Raptors, brand new team in the Central Football League. You guys find it tough to prepare for a team that you've never seen before in previous years?
Yes, mostly in semi-pro and early in the season in our league that the rosters changed so much until around Easter's when our rosters have to be froze. So you really don't know. There's a lot of some of it's a little bit of coaching on the fly, I like to call it. You get there, you scout them. Sometimes we get film and sometimes we don't, so it makes it a little more difficult. I think it's made me a better coach, my ability to adjust, and the fact that you have to adjust on the fly. But I talked about the veterans earlier, and I'll ask the veterans when they come off the field, what are you seeing? What are they doing to you? And I tell them, be truthful. If you're getting your butt kicked, be truthful. We can help you. And with that combination, I mean, we've been very successful with that. And so far we've made adjustments, and they've been pretty good to us.
Looking ahead to another mobile quarterback. He's definitely got some good quickness in his feet and can run with the ball. And we got a panel here of defensive experts. How do you adjust to a mobile quarterback like this?
Sometimes we kind of it depends on what kind of mobility he has. Is he looking to run? The quarterback we played last night at River Valley, he scrambled looking to throw. He wasn't looking to run the ball. And we've played against both, but this quarterback here, he's looking to run. So we'll probably we won't be as aggressive up front. We call it setting a moving wall, and most likely that's what we'll do. We'll set a moving wall and let him run into us. Our DBs are very good, very fast, very athletic. We cover well, so I think we'll close the gaps down, and I'll expect him to want to tuck it and run it, and then we'll swallow him up.
And looking ahead, like we talked about, Jordan, you said you used to have 4 days of study film, and this is not the case this week. And Peter, would like you to hit on this as well. How do you guys as players, going into a little-known situation, a team you know very little about, what is your preparation like throughout the week?
Well, go ahead. A lot of it is recovery from the week before. I mean, I spend probably the first 3 days of the week in an ice bath and taping and just get myself through the week. But when it comes down to crunch time, I mean, I get my cardio in, I get workouts in, just making sure that I'm doing everything I can to be ready for Saturday. I mean, even if I don't know a lot about the opponent that's coming up, I rely on the foundation that I've learned from Pee Wee up to college, just those, sound things that I've learned from good coaches all the way through, and then what we see out there, I take from him and we run with it.
First 24, 48 hours, I love dwelling on, my good plays. But then after that, I think about what I could have done better, what mistakes I made here, made there, that I could prepare myself better mentally you know, for the next upcoming game. I stepped inside a little too tight this time, stayed to the outside shoulder a little wider the next time. So, I mean, for me, it's a lot of mental because there isn't a lot of film. So it's a lot of mental.
Well, definitely a good outlook going into next week against the Arkansas Raptors. Again, the Crusaders are on the road. They are back home in Joplin on March 21st at Fred G. Hughes Stadium on the campus of Missouri Southern against the Arkansas Ducks. Another team I'm not familiar with, but we're pretty sure we'll get to know them. Kickoff at 6:30 on the 21st at Fred G. Hughes. Season passes for the 2015 season are still available. We'd like to thank our friends here at Gasano's Pizzeria for having us, let us host the show here, and to all of our sponsors. Be sure to come out, get those season passes, bring the kids out. It's definitely a family fun environment. Kids, you're invited to come down and meet the players after the game. Get as many autographs as you want to get. And, of course, we'll always be looking for another win for Crusader football. Again, I'm Austin Woodard. I'd like to thank Jordan Hiley, Peter Edwards, and Coach Pitts for joining me this week on CruNation. We'll see you next week.